Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into an ecosystem so incredibly vast and wild, it literally operates like a hyper-connected biological machine keeping our planet alive. We're exploring the absolutely unreal Amazon. Starting off with Section 1, Earth's greatest biological engine, the heart of our planet. To truly understand this place, we first have to wrap our heads around its staggering, almost unfathomable scale. It's not just a bunch of trees, it's quite literally the beating heart of our world. Our source material paints this incredibly vivid picture, describing the landscape as a relentless green ocean stretching across South America, pulsing with moisture and sound. It's a place where rumbling thunder rolls through the distance and shakes the canopy in a way that feels exactly like a heartbeat. And honestly, that's not just poetic imagery, it's a massive, living, breathing entity. And when we call it an ocean, well, the numbers totally back that up. That green ocean covers a massive 2 million square miles. To put that insane scale into perspective, within that colossal space, the Amazon shelters an incredible 1 in every 10 species known to science. Just think about what that means for our daily lives, right? The very air we breathe and the global climate we rely on. Every single leaf out there acts as a solar panel, every root acts as a lung, and together they form Earth's absolute most powerful biological engine. Moving right along to Section 2, rulers of canopy and shadow, the predators and the patient. So in this intensely harsh environment, extreme pressure forges absolute masters of both immense power and, surprisingly, incredible patience. We see some incredibly specialized power here. Down on the forest floor, the jaguar is the undisputed sovereign of the shadows. It packs a bite that literally crushes skulls, and, unlike most big cats, it actually loves swimming and hunting in the water. Then, looking up, you got the harpy eagle dominating the sky. It rules the air with talons the size of a grizzly bear's. It weaves through trees to snatch monkeys mid-motion. But power isn't always physical, right? The howler monkey commands the acoustic landscape. By using this hollow hyoid bone in its throat like a built-in amplifier, its calls can travel up to 3 miles away, basically mapping out territory through the air alone. But survival in this engine isn't just about sheer physical force. It's also about perfect harmony. Take the sloth, for example. Here we have an animal that lives high up in the canopy, moving at the literal speed of moss. It's actually covered in symbiotic algae and moths. And get this, once a week it performs a super deliberate descent down the exact same tree simply to defecate at the base. That waste fertilizes the roots. The tree absorbs those nutrients and in turn continues to grow the leaves that sustain the sloth. It is just a stunning, perfectly closed biological loop. Now let's look at Section 3, the forest floor architects. Empires beneath the leaves. Let's travel from the canopy down to the dirt for a second. We have two fascinating extremes down here. On one side, there's the bullet ant, representing agonizing, raw force. It ranks highest on the Schmidt Pain Index, guarding its colony with a venom that causes literally hours of fiery agony. But contrast that raw power with the masterful design of the leafcutter ants. These tiny engineers move 12 tons of vegetation a year. 12 tons. And here's the crazy part, they don't even eat the leaves. They use them to farm an underground fungus. They even have bacteria on their bodies that produce natural antibiotics to protect their crops from mold. It's an entire wildly complex agricultural empire functioning perfectly beneath the leaf litter. All right, on to Section 4, the river and ancient humans, the main artery and forgotten engineers. All of these intricate biological empires we've talked about, they're all connected by a single monumental artery of motion, the Amazon River. The crucial point here is understanding the sheer volume of this main artery. To put this into perspective, the Amazon unleashes a mind-blowing 29,000 cubic meters of water a second into the Atlantic Ocean. Think about that for a second. That is more than the next 7 largest rivers on Earth combined. It drains nearly 1/5 of all the fresh water on the planet. And the deep history of this basin is completely awe-inspiring. Tracking back 65 million years ago, a prehistoric inland sea actually drained when the Andes Mountains rose, leaving behind marine fossils right where the forest now stands. But human history here is just as fascinating. LiDAR scans and satellite imagery have revealed that advanced ancient human civilizations successfully engineered this landscape. They built flood-resistant gardens and complex circular villages connected by these huge radiating roads. Centuries ago, indigenous populations created terra preta, or dark earth, which is a carbon-rich soil made by mixing charcoal, bone, and waste. It's honestly one of humanity's earliest and most successful forms of sustainable agriculture. So the Amazon was never really an untouched wilderness. It was a carefully managed home. Which brings us to Section 5, Chemistry and Masterful Camouflage. The relentless arms race. Because visibility completely dictates survival in this dense green world, the inhabitants are locked in a relentless evolutionary arms race of chemistry and disguise. Color here is a serious currency. For instance, the scarlet ibis turns the wetlands into a living canvas. But actually, scratch that. It gets its striking crimson color entirely from carotenoid pigments in its seafood diet of crustaceans and shellfish, not from its DNA. The chicks actually hatch as a dull brown and only gain their brilliant red color through years of these pigment-steeped meals. Isn't that wild? And this brings us to a fascinating clash between expectation and reality. You know the famous electric blue of the morpho butterfly? Well, it isn't actually pigment at all. It's structural color. Microscopic scales on its wings bend light through pure physics. The moment it closes its wings, the underside turns brown, and it completely vanishes into the shadows. It's like a magic trick built into its biology. Survival here is literally chemistry. The eyelash viper, blending perfectly into mossy branches, doesn't chase its prey. It just waits and then deploys hemotoxic venom. That's a powerful toxin that rapidly shuts down muscle function and blood flow in less than a second. Or take the tiny, brilliantly colored poison dart frog. It warns predators away with these striking electric blues and oranges. But it doesn't make its own poison. It borrows lethal alkaloids from the toxic insects it eats, effectively weaponizing the ecosystem against its own enemies. Or consider the glass frog. This little guy performs what has to be the absolute ultimate disappearing act. While resting on the underside of a leaf, it actually redirects its own blood to its liver, turning almost completely transparent. Light passes right through it, erasing its shadow and allowing it to completely vanish right in front of predators. Nature is just incredible. Moving into our final section, Section 6, the planet's breathing memory, resilience, and survival. So, as we've seen, this massive biological engine requires a highly delicate balance of caretakers to endure. Life thrives in abundance here, but without the creatures that cleanse and recycle, the whole shebang would just collapse. The ecosystem completely depends on these essential, often unglamorous caretakers. The king vulture soars hundreds of feet in the air, tracking down carcasses to clean the land of decay before it can spread poison to the living. Down in the water, the massive Amazonian manatee grazes heavily, consuming up to 15% of its body weight in aquatic plants every single day. By doing this, it actively shapes the river's physical channels, allowing sunlight to reach new growth. And the side-neck turtle quietly adapts to the muddy shallows, serving as a vital recycler, tuned perfectly to the ecosystem over millions of years of evolution. Now today, of course, the pulse of this forest is uneven. It faces devastating modern threats from chainsaws, the clearing of land, and uncontrolled fires. Yet, our source material emphasizes a key takeaway. This unstoppable forest continues to endure. It remains an unbelievable force of nature that absorbs billions of tons of carbon each year and dictates global weather patterns. The rain that forms above this canopy eventually falls to sustain life all over the earth. Which leaves us with a truly provocative thought regarding our own role in this immense biological cycle. The health of this forest is essentially the planet's memory, recording how well we've learned to live with the very things that sustain us. So what kind of legacy are we choosing to leave in the planet's memory? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you walk away today with a deeper appreciation for Earth's greatest engine.